Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH and welcome to episode 3 of the LeBron Hunt. Today we have a quick look and review on the Nike LeBron 4 birthday. To start things off, this is probably the best unboxing experience I've ever had because it technically isn't a box. The LeBron 4 birthdays actually come in this very premium shoe bag, and as you can see, it's just super insane. But we'll put that aside for the meantime because we will talk about that later. But the Nike Zoom LeBron 4 was used by LeBron James in the 2006 to 2007 NBA season. And like I said in my previous video, the 2005 to 2006 season was kind of the year where he truly became a superstar. So in the 06-07 season rocking the LeBron 4s, LeBron pretty much kept on his path to superstardom by averaging 27.3 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. Then once again, he was named an All-Star starter, making this his 3rd straight season starting in the All-Star game, and this time he led all players in votes received. He also was named to the All-NBA second team, which might be surprising for some of you, but at the time, since LeBron James was a forward, he was competing with Dirk Nowitzki, who was the NBA MVP in 2007, and Tim Duncan, who is probably the best power forward of all time and still in his prime in 2007. So when you factor that in, it is kind of understandable why he only made the All-NBA second team, because for that season at least, Dirk and Tim Duncan had the upper hand. Aside from his individual success, LeBron James continued to make the Cleveland Cavaliers better and better, and in that season, they were legit title contenders. He once again led them to 50 wins and they were the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. Then in the playoffs, they quickly took care of business against the Washington Wizards by sweeping them in 4 games. And then in the 2nd round, the Cavs faced Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, and Vince Carter and the Nets. But the Cavs did prove to be too much as they dispatched the Nets in 6 games, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they once again faced off against the Detroit Pistons, who sent them home last year in the Eastern Conference semis. And at that time, the Detroit Pistons were making their 5th straight trip to the Eastern Conference Finals, so this definitely was a tough test for the Cavs and LeBron James. The series was pretty much hanging in the balance in Game 5 with both teams tied at 2 games apiece, and this would become the famous game where LeBron scored 25 straight points to beat the Detroit Pistons in double overtime. LeBron would go to his first NBA Finals, however the Cavs did get swept by the San Antonio Spurs because honestly the Cavs were really overmatched because the Spurs at that time were pretty loaded since they had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen, Tim Duncan, and Greg Popovich. But it definitely was a sign for things to come because now in 2020, LeBron has made it to 10 NBA Finals. So you know, it's always nice to look back at the first time. Then for the LeBron 4, the birthday colorway is definitely one of the most famous ones. But you also have the Fruity Pebbles LeBron 4s as well as the LeBron 4 graffiti, which were the inspiration for the LeBron 17 graffitis that dropped this year. So with that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing, or shall I say unzipping, because this ain't no box. So for the box/bag of the LeBron 4 birthdays, that's this rough blue textile all throughout, and then you have patches of orange synthetic leather both here on this side as well as the other side with embossed LeBron text. Then you have some more synthetic leather here on the front with that L23 logo, and then you have this shiny metal plate with December 30, 1984, which is LeBron's birthday, and then beside that you have an embossed 22, which was his age in that season. So now time to zip these open and take a look at the shoes. So there we go, and it opens up actually like this, and here you have your left shoe, and first thing you notice is that it's really heavy, but in my opinion these shoes are just super nice. And here you have your right shoe, and you might be wondering why the color scheme is like this, and no, it's not because of the Knicks, it's actually because of those Cleveland Cavalier jerseys which were orange and blue, which I really think they should bring back, but that's a topic for another day. So here you have it guys, this is the LeBron 4 birthday. So for the tech specs on the LeBron 4, here on the outsole you do have a lot of herringbone, and they are cut into these strips or sections because you do have a lot of flex grooves here, but overall you still have a lot of coverage, and with this herringbone it's pretty much tried and true, and the rubber compound also feels really good, so this will pretty much stick to the court, no problem. The herringbone grooves are definitely not the thickest, but they are really hard, so I think that this will last you a reasonable time outdoors. Then for the cushion, this was actually quite surprising for me because I always thought that the drop-in midsoles started with the Kobe line and the Jordan 2011, but the LeBron 4, which released in the 2006 to 2007 season, actually makes use of a drop-in midsole. As you can see from the outside, you really can't see any midsole because it's pretty much just the rubber, and then this is technically part of the upper already. But inside the shoe, you do have that drop-in midsole. So the drop-in midsole on the LeBron 4s is actually one of the best I've ever tried. And yes, that includes all of the Kobe's as well as the Jordans that had drop-in midsoles, and it only probably falls behind the drop-in midsole on the LeBron 11. The drop-in midsole on the LeBron 4 features a top-loaded full-length zoom unit, and anytime you have top-loaded full-length zoom, that's really awesome because like as you see with the KD12 and KD13, those just absorb a lot of impact and provide some really good bounce just like these do. Then underneath that full-length zoom, you have this very thick foam, and I'm not really sure what it's made of because there really isn't any branding, but if I had to take a guess, this is a pretty soft phylon, and it's actually really thick and cored out here at the bottom, which really allows the foam to compress and expand. This makes the cushion on the shoe super plush and super comfortable, and that full-length zoom provides the responsiveness and bounce back. Then for the materials, here at the bottom of the shoe, you do have this carbon fiber torsional plate, and it actually is pretty massive and spans pretty much like 80% of the shoe, since it goes from the heel all the way to the forefoot. Then here on the upper, the exterior is pretty much all foamposite, and this was actually very surprising back then because we haven't really seen foamposite used that much. You only saw it in a few shoes, namely the foamposites, the chuckposit, the pennyposit, and the flightposit. Foamposite is a very robust and tough material. However, one thing that Nike did that makes the LeBron 4s a lot better than the foamposits, for example, is that they cut a lot of flex grooves here at the bottom as well as here at the top. So even though the foamposite upper does provide a lot of rigidity, it still had good enough maneuverability. Then here at the ankle collar as well as the bungees here above the laces, you have this synthetic nubuck, and it does feel pretty nice and soft to the touch. Then inside the shoe, you actually have a soft mesh inner sleeve that pretty much goes all the way underneath that foamposite. This makes the shoe feel really comfortable on foot, and it really gives you that really nice padded feeling. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size with the LeBron 4s, and it fits me pretty well width-wise, but it is quite a bit long. With that inner boot, these 3 large bungees, as well as this strap here at the ankle collar, the lockdown was superb, so I really wasn't bothered by the extra length here at the toe. And besides, even if I did know that it fit a little bit long, the midfoot would have been too constricting with this foamposite build. So my quick recommendation would be that if you have a narrow foot, you can definitely go down half a size. Then if you have a normal width foot, you should go true to size. And then if you have a wide foot, I think your best bet is going up half a size. Then for the aesthetic details, you do have that white herringbone here at the bottom, and it's surrounded by this semi-translucent orange rubber. Here at the medial side of the forefoot, you have this little circle with an L23 logo, and then here at the heel, you have the number 23. Then here at the back, some of that orange rubber comes up, and you also have this clear plastic that says Believe. Then here at the front part of the shoe, you do have some more clear plastic, and it says LRJ, which are LeBron's initials. Then here on the medial side of the rubber that comes up just a bit, you have Zoom branding. Then for the upper, the bottom half of the shoe does have that white foamposite. Then on the upper half of the shoe, it is this really nice blue, both on the foamposite as well as that synthetic nubuck. Then here at the base of the lacing, you have this small orange Nike swoosh. And then here at the strap at the ankle collar, you have this orange L23 buckle. And then here at the heel tab, you have 1984 written in orange. Then once you do open up the strap, you can see the LeBron James Lion logo here on the tongue. And underneath that, it says King. The whole mesh inner boot is orange as well as the laces. And then behind the tongue, you have another orange patch with a birthday cake. Then lastly, you do have some more Nike branding here with this white swoosh on the lateral side and this Nike swoosh on the medial side that's embossed in the foamposite. Then for the overall aesthetics, the LeBron 4 is one of those shoes where you either love it or you hate it. And I'm definitely in the camp that loves the LeBron 4. I think it just looks super unique because in my opinion, the LeBron 4 doesn't really look like any other basketball shoe. And it's just a classic and unmistakable shoe in the LeBron signature line. I love the LeBron colorways that have a different color for the bottom half of the foamposite and the upper because it just makes it contrast really well and really accentuate that unique look. So for me, this is definitely an awesome looking shoe, whether it's for off-court use or on-court use. And speaking of on-court use, these are also really good to play in because the traction is good, the cushion is great, and that lockdown and containment, I mean, look at this. You have all of this foamposite, you're definitely gonna be secure. The only problem would be the weight because I think these near 20 ounces, which is absolutely insane. But aside from that, on-court bangers. Then for the price, I really wasn't able to find anything online about the original price of the LeBron 4s when they released in 2007. But if I do remember correctly, these were pretty expensive and they retailed for around 200 to 250 US dollars. So since these did come out a long time ago, I was only able to find these on the resale market. So I was able to get these from Sir JP on an app called Carousel, which I do use a little bit here and there, and it's actually a pretty good site to find some gems like these. He was actually kind enough to sell me these for 12,000 pesos. Because on StockX, the LeBron 4 birthday when they're brand new cost over $500 or 30,000 pesos. So even though 12,000 pesos is still quite expensive, if you compare it to 30,000, I think I got a steal. So there you have it, guys. That concludes episode 3 of the LeBron Hunt featuring the Nike LeBron 4 birthday. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for any future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.